The general idea is that we function the best and the brightest when we engage with a community, when we engage with like-minded individuals, when we engage. Think of like your churches, think of like your community outreach programs when those people get together. Think about when people need help with
You're listening to Legacy Through Literacy, where we dissect the philosophy of money one mindset at a time. From uncovering why we settle for our current financial standing to facing the fears that keep us from taking that first crucial step, we tackle the beliefs that are holding you back. Guided by insights from legendary thinkers and today's financial trailblazers, we don't just talk about change, we empower you to own it. This isn't just talk, this is Legacy Through Literacy.
Hello, my name's Eddie, and you're listening to Legacy Through Literacy. Today, I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart called the Iron Giant. If you've never seen the Iron Giant, you're missing out. But it has one of my favorite quotes in there. It says, you are who you choose to be. And one of the things that I think in every aspect of my current life, I don't know, maybe when I was younger, it might have been different. Try to be the most authentic version of myself as possible. Saw a quote once that said the way to escape mediocrity is through authenticity. And I believe that what drives people to connection, to real connection, is to be as authentic of a person as possible. And obviously, not to be an ass is always probably extremely helpful. Because if you're an abrasive personality type, there's a strong possibility that you're going to push people away. And even honestly, even if you're an extroverted personality type, sometimes you might be a little bit too much for some folks, because some folks just are more reserved. I heard there's a book called Captivate. Can't remember the author right now, but that book talks about personalities and being able to kind of code switch on certain personalities and be able to communicate the most effectively. And I think a lot of that's going to come to, are you your real self? And I think people can sniff out, especially in sales, you see it a lot in sales, people can sniff out that inauthentic version of yourself. They can see that you're not who you are pretending to be. And I think this, in that regard, I think a lot of people will tend to shy away from not only communicating with you, but refusing to even engage with what it is that you're trying to do. The biggest function of your authentic self is that there's no lie. You're not trying to create a false persona of a person that only exists sometimes, you know. And I think we wear different masks and different faces in that way, that you might not be that outgoing all the time or extroverted all the time or, introverted all the time. And then there's an ambivert. Ambivert's more like in between, like you're an extrovert with certain people, but you're an introvert with other people. So kind of like a flex. And I don't know, maybe that's just a thing. Maybe not everybody can do that. Maybe there's only really the base model for your personality type, and we don't ever change. I don't know if that's entirely true. I do think the industry that I'm currently in and the group that I currently work with, there's a lot of people that say, and you can kind of see it with them, they are introverted. And when you're engaging with them, they're not extremely vocal, but you can see when they become into their mindset for their business and when they come into their mindset for what they're trying to achieve. Whole different line, whole different ballgame. So it's super important to understand that you are not fixed into whatever you're starting as. You can be something else. A lot of this comes from education. It comes from engaging. I think community engagement is super huge. And I mean community, not internet, not social media. Not saying those things are bad. Just saying that you need to engage with your friends. You need to engage with family that are friends and friends that are family, which is a line I used on my other podcast forever ago. Shout out to TBD Network. It's been a minute since I've posted anything. But no, you really need to understand that we are animals. We are human animals. No other animal in the animal kingdom cooperates and engages with itself the way that we do. Insects, maybe a little bit. Bees, ants, I don't know. But, I mean, different question, I guess, for a different time. But the general idea is that we function the best and the brightest when we engage with a community, when we engage with like-minded individuals, when we engage, think of like your churches, think of like your community outreach programs when those people get together. Think about when people need help with GoFunds, they need help with supporting an art project, think of all the different pieces and the different communities that get involved. And I've noticed a lot of people, the more that they try to create something bigger, like as they're scaling up, which we talked about in the last episode, they are so into who they are that they're drawing in this community of people that not only trust them, but listen to them, that talk to them. And that reputation is important. That the whole idea that you only get one time to make a first impression, that is pretty solid. Like, people will have that in their heads for a really long time. And I think this is, again, why you should probably be your most authentic self. Be who you are to your core, to your principles, to your values, because those are the things that are going to really connect you to the people that are around you. They're really going to be that big function for your bigger meetings, for your any type of engagement. I think the biggest struggle that a lot of people have is they pretend to be someone else, especially online, versus who they are in real life. I see this with discourse on the internet. You see people that will act a certain way, and then when you're in their face, they act an entirely different way. And I do think that there's an engagement there that you're like, well, I know that you're secretly an asshole. It's like you're smiling to me and we're friends right now, but when we were talking on this thing, whatever platform, pick your platform, it was like, you said some pretty harsh things, and now I have to assume that you're actually a nice person. I was like, I don't know if that works that way. And it really does kind of exude this binary of like the human connection, right? Like there's this concept that the person that you're engaging with is not the authentic version of themselves. And I think the authentic version typically is kind of, I could say, is probably the person you're engaging with, you're face to face. The feeling of anonymity on social media and whatever other platform you want to use does give you kind of a little bit more of a freedom, because you don't have to deal with the emotional reaction that comes back and forth between the people that you're trying to engage with. And I think that is going to overall kind of be the detriment, right? Like if you hold values, like if you have certain values and you want to exude those values and show people that those are part of your core tenets, it's like, try to be that all the time. It's like, obviously we're going to all fail. Nobody's perfect, but it's not like, again, if you are being your authentic self, there is no reason that you'll ever need to lie or pretend, because you're just being you. If you're being a storyteller, be the storyteller. Again, we all wear different masks. Sometimes those masks might be different parts of our personality, but I think when it comes down to true to form who you are, the more you be that person, the more you will be that thing in everything you do. So getting out of mediocrity and trying to show people that you are what your value is and what value you bring to a situation should be as open to who you are as possible, not this chaotic whirlwind of human emotions that you see on like social media. But, if you are a chaotic person, if that is kind of your, if that's, don't be surprised that if people try to avoid you a little bit, because, you need to check out that book, Captivate. I'll see if I'll throw the link of the book in the comments. It's an interesting book. I thought it was, at least as far as personality types, and kind of another really good book is 7 Habits of Effective People by Stephen Covey, I believe. Really good book on personalities. The one last tidbit of wisdom I can probably impart on you for this episode is that Marcus Aurelius talks about purpose. It's probably the one of the few passages in Meditations where I relate to really good, because he talks about wanting to get out of bed, and he's like, is this what you were created for, was to stay in bed, tucked under the covers, warm and feel nice? Yes, that is exactly what I want. And he goes, are you not here to deliver your purpose? And I'm like, yeah, that is basically what, like, we're all here because we have a purpose. We have a thing. This is where anxiety, I feel, comes from, is that we don't know that we have this purpose that we're trying to drive to. And we do want to feel nice and comfortable and safe. And there's nothing wrong with that. Comfort breeds complacency. Complacency, I feel, is what breeds insecurity and anxiety. I think that sometimes, just sometimes, we like to be challenged, and not just challenged by what life throws at us, but be challenged by creating the things and the dreams that we want to pursue. Thanks for listening. My name's Eddie. This is Legacy Through Literacy. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Logos Literacy LLC. Thank you. Take care.